So as of posting yesterday's video, which if you haven't seen, I'll link up here, it kind of explains where the C5 is and, you know, talked about a couple other things. But either way, what it talked about for the most part, which people cared about, was I'm still looking for a C5. And upon posting that, I probably got about 25 to 30 people sending me their Craigslist ads or cars for sale ads or whatever of people trying to get rid of the car. And I really do appreciate that, I do, because, you know, if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have found the car that's behind me right now. About 2 nights ago, I'm working and then I get an anonymous, just a forwarded email from a Craigslist ad, you know, the email to a friend thing. Didn't know who it was, had no description, just a link. So I clicked on it just for the hell of it, and, you know, it was a C5 that had a bunch of work done to it. It's an 04, it was a coupe, which is what I was looking for. And, you know, I wasn't too excited about the fact that it was really modified, but the more I looked at it and the more I read through what had been done to it, who had owned the car, I realized this was worth my time. So without further ado, and since I know you guys, you know, don't care either or have already skipped ahead, you know that I want to do a cinematic review for this, but since I'm only one person, I can't do that just yet. So as soon as I get actual plates on the car, because it doesn't exactly have real plates on it right now, I will do a cinematic review and, you know, have some nice camera angles and whatnot. As of right now, you guys are just going to hear the bitch scream. And I'll drive it a little bit. But either way, without further ado, let me show you the car that's behind me right now. Okay, let's turn that girl off. Oh God, that's good. That sounds awesome. Okay, time for me to explain myself. So this car, like I said, it was sent to me via a Craigslist ad. It was basically anonymous. There was the name of who sent the email, but I had no idea who it was. It was just a link. Clicked on it, called the guy up, we talked a little bit. The next day I went to his place in the morning, I saw the car, he took me for a ride, and I didn't drive it because I didn't come with cash in hand, I didn't expect to make any kind of deal. But he took me for a ride in it, and the car was in immaculate condition when I saw it. It still is. The only thing is now it's a little bit dirty because I drove it home, you know, it was a little bit wet outside, so it's not as clean as it was earlier. But everything that I wanted in the C5, you know, even things I didn't need, are on this car, which is one of the reasons that, you know, I paid as much as I did for the car. That's great, Jimbo, so how much did you pay for the car? Don't dedicate a whole separate video that's 10 minutes to it. You're right, I'm not going to. I paid $15,500 for the car. Originally it was asking, like, the owner was asking $16,750, and, you know, we talked a little bit, and $15,500 was the final number. And, you know, some people I'll talk to, they'll be like, oh, you know, you probably could have got it for less. It doesn't matter what you get a car for, people are going to tell you if you could have gotten it less. It could be by $100. People are going to be like, oh, you should have paid this, oh, you should have paid that. Doesn't matter. No, I was very, very happy with the purchase of this car, and I'll tell you why. The buying experience, which I don't think everyone, you know, thinks about when they buy a car, or especially if you're buying your first car, you just want to get it for as cheap as possible. Buying any car is a big decision, and you want to make sure what you're buying you're happy with, and when you walk away with the car, you don't feel like you were ripped off, you don't feel like, you know, you get what I'm saying here. But originally, what I was supposed to do was the day before, I was going to go back to Maryland because there was a car I was going to look at. Well, Woodbridge, Virginia, but the DMV area. Had like 24,000 miles on it, had a Corsa exhaust, had no cats on it, and the car looked straight, 24,000 miles, and they were only asking 15 grand for it. And I was going to go look at the car and make him an offer on it. Now, those guys treated me like shit. The first time I ever went to that dealership, you know, I test drove the car a long time ago just to look at it. They treated me like garbage. They treated me like a young kid that just came in there for a joyride, and they didn't take me seriously at all, which I do understand. But when I called back again, asking them about the car, and I said, listen, I got cash in hand, I'm ready to make a move, which was true, wasn't me bullshitting. They treated me like garbage as well. They didn't even call me back. They were supposed to call me back Wednesday, today is Thursday, never called me back, so Anyway, after I talked with the seller, after I got a ride in the car, and after the way he treated me, I knew that before I even got out of the car after he had given me a ride that this was the car that I was going to buy. If you treat me well, I will make it worth your while. But either way, this car literally has every single option that I wanted on this car. And even ones that I was just like, you know what, I don't need them, but you know, it'd be nice if they were there, you know, that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's got the memory seats, which is very, very cool. I did not think I was gonna get a car with that. And just for those who don't know what that is, basically, you can program the seat and the steering wheel to always be in a certain position when you get in the car. So when your ass touches the seat, or no, not ass touches the seat, you press a button right here, like for the memory buttons, the seat moves to wherever you know, last adjusted it. I don't know the specifics of how it works, but that's the general gist of it. So I'll turn the key. If I press memory 2 here, watch what happens to the steering wheel and the seat. I don't know how much you could see, but everything just moved. Now press it back to 1 and watch the steering wheel. I'm gonna see. There we go. That's pretty freaking cool. Then it's got the heads-up display, which you guys can't see right now. I'll show you in a minute. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to show you in here. Oh yes, there is. You want to talk about buyer confidence. This is the other thing that made me lose it. You know how sometimes you get a car or you see modifications and you don't know the history and you're like, oh, I mean, you got the model on the car. Like, I don't know how, you know, maybe it was installed by someone who doesn't know what they're doing. This is the kind of guy who has a binder with receipts that are all in plastic, okay? Like hundreds of receipts all in plastic with the car on the front of the cover. This is how you know you are buying a good Corvette from a Corvette guy, okay? You guys also want to know how many miles are on this bad boy. Let's see if I can press trip. Odometer. We're looking at 88,282 miles. So most of the work that was done to this car, I wanted to preface that. Most of the work was done incrementally, so it wasn't done all at once. It wasn't like built at this time. You know, basically this is a heads and a cam car, because I know that's what everyone's wondering, what's been done to this car. It's got a, you know, a fast intake, heads, cam, an aggressive cam, that sounds great, and a bunch of other supporting mods that are done to it as well, which I'll pull up the Craigslist ad and read off to you, because I can't remember them off the top of my head. But the previous owner, Steve, he bought it back, I think he said 2009. He was the second owner. I'm now the third owner. But he's done everything with this car, you know, and he told me, like, listen, like, you know, this car, like, I have beat on it, you know, but it's never left me stranded when I'm dailying it, you know, I mean, that's what I want to hear. I want a car that, you know, like, I can rely on, and this, you know, from driving it as much as I have already, which is just from back at his house, the car did not scream unreliable like that car I drove in Michigan. No. This car, it made me feel like this was a brand new car. I mean, this is because I'm used to old ones, but man, did this feel good to drive. I give you guys a little bit of a pull just so you guys have an idea of what's going on here. I can't do too much because this doesn't actually have really a plate on it right now. This car has a stage 2 clutch and a B&M short throw shifter. And to say the least, it is not exactly light, and you're gonna have a lot of people waiting for you when you're driving this and parking it. Probably want to put this on. But this car is loud, like it's ridiculously loud, and I might end up putting some kind of aftermarket muffler on it. Yeah, this clutch is tricky, driving it with and then the cam also. But you can't hear it too much in here, you know, in the cabin, but outside, oh god, like just a kind of fast, because the C4, when you would get on it, just the way you sat in the car and the way the suspension was configured and all that stuff, when you drive it, even though it wasn't that fast, when you got on it, it felt like you were going fast. This car is like fast in comfort. I'd almost equate it to like going fast in a Mercedes or something like that, more of land yachtish. I mean, it's a really fast car, but you accelerate, it's so comfortable. Like, you don't get thrown back like in the C4. It's a full body experience when you accelerate in that car, which is something I do miss. I guess we just gotta make this car faster, but it's a different kind of fast, and it's comfort, you know. And to be honest with you, from what I had been driving, this is more along the lines of what I was looking for anyway. lot of fun to drive, so I just wanted to give you guys a bit of like a build breakdown, so to speak, of what has been done to this car. I'll move the camera a little bit up. Okay, well, he deleted the Craigslist ad, so you're not going to be able to see that, and I'll have to look up the receipts a little bit later. But just to give like the main things that are done to this car, obviously it's tuned. It's got an MS4 cam, I think is what it is. I don't know the specs of the cam. I got to check like the receipts and find out what that is. It's got a full exhaust on it, long tube headers. It does have cats on it, but it doesn't have mufflers, which doesn't really help my case anyway, because this is still gonna, fail emissions. B&M short throw shifter. The wheels are very, very nice. I forgot what the tint percentages are, but the passenger and the driver windows, they're darker than the rear, so you can still see out the rear, which is a good touch, and you can't tell. Rear spoiler, tinted tail light covers, tinted reverse light covers. It's got a bunch of supporting mods. The torque tube is rated to 1,000 horsepower on this bad boy. It's got a new differential that was put in like 20,000 miles ago. There's a lot of good stuff that's done to this car, not only performance-wise. Basically, it's like a heads and cam car. It's got a lot of supporting mods in it, so when I do, take this to a drag strip and I do beat on it, it'll take it. So that's what I'm really excited about. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's upload. I'm going to make a separate video, as I said, like revealing the whole car and, having some great burnouts, maybe a little drift in there and some nice rollers. I'll do all that stuff. Just I can't be at 3 places at once at the moment. So I'll take care of that, don't worry. I'll be able to do a lot more once I actually get plates on this car. As of right now, I don't really feel comfortable taking this anywhere, more 5 miles within my own house. Even that's kind of a stretch. So yeah, the C5 is officially here. I'm really excited. I am very, very excited about what ends up happening here. I don't know what I'm going to do to it to make it faster, if anything at all, because at the moment it's pretty fast. I really do enjoy driving it. Like I said, it's not the same throw you back in the seat as fast as my C4, but it's faster in a different way, and I really, really enjoy it. So there's going to be a lot of really cool videos coming for this. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, because it's finally here. It's finally here. After weeks of teasing and talking about getting one, and I'm looking at one, I finally got one, and I couldn't be any happier with the purchase. So anyway, I know Steve's watching. Steve, I'll take great care of your car. Don't worry. Anytime you want, you can come see it. But the thing is, this car makes about 448 on a Mustang dyno. That's what it dynoed out at. So at a dyno jet, that's making like 500 wheel, I think, around there. So if Rob's dyno checks out correctly, which it shouldn't, because that's like a turbo car.
Beast is putting down about, what was it, 400 and something horsepower, which I would say is a really good thing.
This car would probably be in line with Rob's car, so probably need to gotta race Rob now. That's gonna be a good video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, that's it for your video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe if you have not already. Like the video, obviously. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, to say the least. I really can't wait to see what ends up happening here. I've probably said that like 5 times now, but I'm really, really excited. The one thing I need your guys' help on, let me know in the comments about this. Every person on YouTube comes up with a name for their car of some sort, and it's not like Michelle or, like Janet. Like, none of that shit. Like, I'm not going to name this like, a woman's name or anything like that. Rob's obviously the student driver. Mike's got like his Arctic Max, he's now calling it, which is a cool name, by the way. I like that. Cleus McFarland's got Leroy, and I'm drawing a blank here. I wanted to do something. I wanted to give an ode to the student driver thing, because a lot of the reason I wanted to get a C5 was influence from Rob, him talking about it, and also he's the first kind of mentor-esque person in my life. I've never had someone like him in my life, showing me, not one, employing me, but 2, just kind of teaching me how he does stuff and, does business, and passing on information to me, which is very cool. So, I wanted to do some kind of, ode to that or tribute to that. So I didn't want to just put student driver on the back. I wanted to put, maybe the same font, the same color, make it the same way as he did, which was at fucking Kinko's. But, maybe say something else. Like, I came up with like the driver student, which I thought was kind of cool, but it doesn't sound that great in the title. So I wanted it to sound, kind of good when you title and everything, because obviously you got to have clickbait when you do this. Throw your name suggestions in the comments below. Obviously, if I pick one of your guys's, I will talk about it in the video, give you credit, all that good stuff. But once again, thank you guys for watching. All of y'all have a fantastic day. yes, to answer that question, yes, this is much faster than Mike's C5.